Pastor Daphne.
Okay. I could mute my device audio. Okay. Okay, Genesis, I'm seeing there. So here am I waiting for everyone to come in. I don't know if you're hearing me. Okay, thank you. You hear me now? All right. Yes. So I have a guest coming on today. Her name is Glenda Stevens. She's from the Algonquin Nation in Ottawa. We are friends. We have been taking courses in like USID, HR, and different things, diplomatic etiquette and other things as well, consultant. So we had a conversation last night, and I was saying to her it would be nice to have her, and she'll be on at some point in time. So if you're on right now, you could put on your Zoom, or if we can hear your voice, I'm not quite sure. But are you hearing me, Glenn? Linda? No.
Yes, I hear you.
There you are. So
Can you
there's
see me?
Yes, you look beautiful.
Hi, thanks. Nice to see you.
Yeah. And the tech people that we have on Gem FM is Nataki and Genesis. Okay. The founder of this platform is named Don Calise. I don't know if you have the time to pop in and say hi to you, but today we do have a beautiful Anishinaabe Algonquin lady sitting with us. Did you hear me talking about your treaty? I did come on and I spoke about the treaty lands. Were you on us yet by that time?
No, I've been
Oh, you
trying
didn't
to
hear?
get my
Oh,
camera
because
working.
okay, so I can repeat it. I can repeat it just for you. I
Oh,
said
thank you.
the land that I'm seated on today is a traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, which is you, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat peoples. Okay, and it's now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. Original name was Chai Tipi, which is Rouge River, because I'm close to the Rouge River. And it's a large creek in the Anishinaabe it was named after Scarborough was named, it's Scarborough we are in, and Scarborough was named after the English town of Scarborough, North Yorkshire. So your town and your land was named by a Yorkshire English person who was in Canada when they put the names together. But it's
Wow.
beautiful to see you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
Good.
It's so good to see you.
Same here, my dear. Yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So today, Minister Burl, are you on as yet, or are you coming on? Because we have my co-host. I told you about her, right? And she has a sick brother, and not sure she's going to be on right now or she's on, but I guess she'll pop in at some point in time. So her name is Merle Fleming.
Oh, okay.
So today we are talking about the difficulties of accessing services, but I wanted to speak a little bit of you because I know we who have migrated into Canada from many places in the world are occupying a lot of, a lot of the land that belongs to your people and your peoples actually. And I wanted you to be here to represent the fact that I am grateful, and I know the people that I associated with, we are all grateful that you all have been gracious, even though you may not, the land has been under treaty. I know from the British throne to those who are migrating here, and that was a treaty between the Queen of England and the peoples of Canada. So I'm very excited to be here so I can meet someone like you.
Thank you. It's very kind of you.
Yes, yeah. And we'll be talking about services. And I know I worked for Indian Affairs for a very short time because when they were giving out the native cards, remember they give out your cards, and I
Yes.
worked in that during that time to assist in that, and I was given a book on native culture to read before. So having to meet you down the road is exciting because it's people that cross my path that I'm seeing again. So it's just exciting, the different things. I've been to a longhouse, and I've been to I told you when I lived in Montreal, I went down on the under the Trans-Canada Bridge where the Mohawks were. And I didn't know because it just looked like, it just looked like a parkland area. But then I walked further in and there was this piece of wood that says, you'll be tried according to Mohawk. Lord. I stopped and I looked at it, and by the time I was looking at someone came and said, "Hi, how are you?" I said, "I didn't even realize that you were here," So they gave me a tour. So you know what? It was good to have trespassed a little bit and stumbled. I learned some lessons well. So I've been into one of their teepees, and it's huge.
Yes, it is. I love it.
I was shocked when I got in. I was like, where am I? Building a house and living in the teepee is pretty much the same. One is of bricks,
Yes, in the teepee, yeah, there's many teachings to it actually. The teepee poles all represent something. Every
Yes.
every piece, every part of the building of it represents something, and it's all about family.
I know it's so amazing that we like we who are from the Caribbean, everything is about family. The world is about family, but not, when you don't know someone's culture, you don't think of them as being family. And you said something to me last night, and you said uh, who was it that went out in Ottawa?
My cousin Luke Goupil, he is a veteran and he is the staff holder to Red Alert. and red alert
Yes,
is for
red alert.
the safety of the families and the children, the women and the children, and for standing up for the children. Actually, today there are many people who are gathering there on the hill at 11 o'clock. They're supposed to be having a everybody a march, and it's national. I don't know if they've made it international, but yeah, actually, I have been hearing that it's pretty widespread across Canada and the United States that for standing up for the children and for children's rights. So yeah, he's out there right now at Parliament Hill. In 20 minutes, or actually at 11 o'clock in 15 minutes, they're going to begin a march for the kids.
Nice, very nice, very nice. Our children are our future. You know, they're the generations coming up behind us, and we really have to have them protected in every way. When I first came to Canada, there was a lot of natives in Toronto. There is a native center in Toronto on Spadina Avenue or Spadina Road, and it services those who are on the streets in Toronto, and there's so many of them over the many years. But I haven't been downtown for quite a long time, you know, so I have no idea what's taking place in the Toronto City District area. Hopefully all is well. But, you know, my thing today is talking about, you know, difficulty in accessing services. And I know as a native people, you know, you all do also have difficulties as we do in accessing services. And until we come together as human beings, rather than as people in this position or that position, we wouldn't be able to look after the things that matter. And there's enough pie in the sky. I always say it's my little analogy for everyone to get a slice in this earth, because our creator God and your spirit, as you call them, would not bring us here for us to suffer. So therefore, we are in the right place at the right time, but not with the people without the proper and full knowledge of what it means to have community, what it is to have other nations, how to live in peace, you know, and how to be compassionate and have love. So those are the things that are missing elements in our societies as we are trying to see how we can live together, you know, as God intended. He did not create different nations for nothing. There is purpose. And we need to find that full and true purpose in order to get to the next level. And some of us are going to die and still not know what it is. You know? even for those of us who are trying to say, you know, if we could only live together in love, if we could only just say hi, hello, good morning, nod your head, you know, or just wave your hand, we would live in peace. We would not be looking at color. We're looking at another human being rather than a person of this race and that race, another human being, because we're all part of God's creation.
Absolutely. So true. Yep.
And what else could we do but continue to forge the fight? We cannot give up, because we wanted to sink it, because, you know, at the end of the day, we have to answer for what we did in this life. What are you going back to your creator to tell him? I wasn't quite aware. I think I made a mistake. He doesn't want to hear that. He wants to hear, you know what? You've done your job. And now is your rest time, you know? And most of us can't see that. Or it's too late. And it's a very sad thing that we need to find that common ground to live together.
Yes. I woke
And
up.
so how about the services? Well, for us, we still fight for services. Our seniors are still getting less than they should be getting. Our, you know, and the thing about it is politics is such a dirty game. It is a good game if we know how to play it right. But one wants to give, the other one wants to take. And you know what? Between both of them, they both know that everybody has a need. So why not fulfill the needs? Instead of pulling and tugging and saying, well, if I get in power, I'll take this away. We would have money in the coffers. Who would tell you that our Creator wasn't providing more for us? Didn't He provide for you, the native peoples? They provided for those of us whose ancestors were enslaved and ended up in the Caribbean, and those of us, because I do have Taino as well as African, roots inside of me. So everything has been provided. Why do we have to fight? When it comes to your people, how are services delegated to you? Is it done well? Are there lots of needs?
There are provisions for us, although I do find that there is a lot missing. Like we do have our very own health center. We have our own supermarket. We have meetings once a month, and the community is to come together to express the need. And a lot of times the need is not met because there is no unity, or there are not enough people wanting to support one another. And speaking from personal experience, I come from a broken line, my family. My mother was in residential school, and I am a 60s scoop survivor. So being said that, there are a lot of things that need to be researched within our own communities, so to help each other to be able to overcome. When I growing up, I was taken from my home when I was 2 years old, and so are the rest of us. I come from a family of 7. I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters, and my story is just one of many out there, because there are many of us who had been taken from our homes, and many of us had not met our parents. We never knew who they were, because many of them, when they went to residential school, they disappeared. They never came home. Some of them never came home. And those who did, my mother came home. She made it home, but I only met her through the years, very minimal times that I was able to see her. And that created a lot of tension within the family with our brothers and sisters. We didn't know each other growing up. And so being withheld from our rights of being able to see each other, and having taken our culture away from us, it's a lot that needs to be brought to the table for healing, and from my personal experience coming back to the community, it was very hard because I didn't know my family members, but people were asking questions. And who is your mother? And who is your father? And okay, we know who you are, but there was never any offer to help. There was never any support. And if there was, that could have changed a lot of years in my life and in anybody's life, because when the help is there and the support is there and the family comes together, then it creates a lot of strength in the community. It makes a lot of change. And I'm happy to say that I overcame that, because I came back to my community, and my father found me when I was 23 years old and told me, could you come back? And you are my youngest daughter. And instead of traveling across Canada searching for something, I don't know what you're doing out there, but I would like to get to know you. And so I did come back and helping to rebuild, and it made such a world of difference in my life and that of I'm sure of my children, because I was able to make that connection and then understand the why of why all of this happened and the reasoning behind of it. Because when a child is taken from their home, they don't understand, and they could either become angry or frustrated, and then things happen and they become lost and they don't know where to go or what to do with themselves because the guidance has been removed. And so with the truth had indeed set me free from all of that, because here I am, and I knew my mother, I knew my father. I got to meet them and understand the why of all of this that happened to me and my brothers and sisters, my cousins, my relatives, my friends, those around me, that I back then I didn't know why I was homeless when I left my foster home. I stayed there from the age of 2 until I graduated high school, and then I was told to leave and never come back. And that created a lot of sadness and confusion. And I had gone to college, but it was too tragic for me, because I would see people in college going home to their families, and I always had the question, where am I going to go? So I would just stay there, and everybody was saying, well, you're just going to stay there, you're not going to go home. And then I would say, well, I don't know where to go. I don't know my family well enough to go back.
So let me ask you a question. The foster parents you had for those years, 18 years plus, whatever, they never ever contacted you after? Have you ever tried to reach them? Did you ever try to reach out?
Yes, we do. We've reconnected after a time, because there was a lot of confusion after that. I was told to leave my foster home and never come back. That kind of struck my heart. That hurt very, for years, to be able to call somebody mother, and then after that to say, well, you have to go now. It's your time, but there was also struggling in the childhood, like as a youth, I had become very independently roaming around the communities and just getting to know everybody. And because I was outside playing back then is different from today. We were able to go around anywhere we wanted to, really. There's a lot more freedom
More
back
freedom.
then. Yes,
that thing we call freedom, it's such a precious gift from God, and unfortunately, because of all the things, like you said, having to suffer things, having to walk away from a place that was so safe to you for all those years, even unknowing, even looking at the person, realizing that, how did you feel with a foster mom? Because, were you aware that you were Native?
No, there was a lot of question about that, because, well, my foster mother was married to a Native, but he had lost his status throughout the years. And there was a lot of complaint about, why do the Native have to pay taxes, and why don't have to pay taxes, and why do the Natives have to be like this, and always the questioning. And then the foster father would make us all laugh, because there were actually many of us. They had 2 of their own children, and that would make them, half and half Native and half so he would make us laugh and say, we're surrounded by Natives at the table when we were eating our supper. And he would make us laugh so hard, because she would be complaining about how the Natives were, and if we were like that, then we should just go back to where we came from, or else live like all of the other regular society. And it became confusing, but he brought it more a lightness
Yeah,
to
because even though she had the children, they were part Native. They were actually, the seed is Native, basically. But I am so overwhelmed, inside, from what you've told me so far. Like, I could feel my tears welling and pulling them back, because when we have losses, it's like, it reminds me of the enslavement period. I don't know of it. It's like you, I don't know of it. I didn't go through it. I was, brought up in a freed home. We have all the cane fields to prove, and the enslavement, and of the African roots that we have, and looking back, and it's so many. You lost your name, you lost, who you are, you lost your languages, so many things are lost, your ways of life, so um pulling the pieces back and being able to come to this point where we are, like at my age, as a grandmother, as a mother and grandmother, I look back at it and says, thank God for the 40. I know the tears are right there. I look at me. You see my big piece of paper. I keep squeezing them so they can run down the side, the back of my, beside my head, because this story is so, it is so real and it's so profound. And like I was saying to you last night, it's time that you start getting notebooks and writing your story, because it's not only a story, it's a legacy that we all can leave for generations to come. Even when we are all risen again, all of this can happen, because when you don't understand a culture and you manipulate them, and you take away from them, you deny them, it's a lot of pain that goes inside. How do we survive each single day? How do we live to another year in life with all of these things in the back of our minds? They talk about mental illness is when you try to transform the mind to something that God did not intend, because we're all here with our mental capacities. But when you confuse me with racism and all the isms, the schisms, the denials, you're not worthy. You go to the bank, they don't want to give you loans. You buy a house, they try to tell you where you got to live. They redline you. All the crazy things that happen with humanity against humanity. And the problem is not governments, it's humanity against humanity. And those of us in different nations that don't realize what the truth about humanity is all about. Why are we so blended as a people? We are here with different cultures, we're there with different nations, we blend because of all the different isms and schisms that has happened to us, things that people do, and if you call them robbers today, they'll find you wrong. So the thing about it is to find common ground that we can all live together as a unified, people. But until that time comes, we got to stay in our lanes, because if they come into your lane, corruption will begin all over again. So we really have to find that common ground for them to see, we are who we are, and you are who you are. It's like my girlfriend says, she says, you do me and I do me. And I agree with that. You do you, and I will do me, because I know me, and you know yourself. So these are some of the things, when I think of, something like saying governments that came and created governments in Canada or wherever they went in the world, around the world, and they created governments and all these systems, but the systems are biased and prejudiced against itself. Because who are you being prejudiced against when you have a government? The very people that have to working and pay the taxes to you to get the services that we want. So it's like a damn if you do, a damn if you don't scenario in life, But it's good to know that you're having the same problem. The land is yours. They came and met you here. So why would you turn around and say you don't pay taxes? You're living on my land. And one of the greatest things I love about the Native peoples is that they say it is their land. They're not selling their land for no money, because money will burn. One of your chiefs said that, eh? He says the money will burn, but the land will be there forever and ever. Amen.
That's right.
So how are the youth in the Algonquins doing right now?
The youth are doing very, very well. They're so awesome. I have a 12-year-old daughter, and she's excelling in so many things right now, and so are all of her friends. Like, we just had a gathering last weekend for a family event, and we were asked to go and host the kids games, and it's so awesome to see them all together and just exploring and getting to know their neighborhoods, their neighbors. And at that age, they're just always interested in, like in who's who and where are we going and what are we going to be doing today. And my daughter is in martial arts training for self-defense. So
Nice.
yeah, we find that very important for the children around here to be able to have
Survive.
the tools that they have to
Mhm,
defend themselves. So
mhm.
yeah, we've had some girls that have gone missing from our community since 2008, and they will always be remembered, and we will always be searching for them. And
Mhm.
it's good to know that there are some people in the community who care enough to teach and offer our kids the tools to be able to
Mm.
say no when the time comes, or find safety within their community to feel
Yes.
safe when they're out there walking around or at events, family events or community events, whatever it may be. So I'm really happy for that. Yeah,
Mm.
the kids, they have a lot of events for them. Like we are just recently, I've seen the community coming together to build a skate park. So I'm looking forward to what's going to be happening.
Yes, I was reading about that.
Yeah.
And
My
that will be
daughter
great for them,
recently,
because at least where they most of them will be congregating, so they'll be in that one place, because skateboarding is really exciting. The kids love it. They love the challenges, and and it's an exercise. The body's and movement, etc. Really, really good for them. But and you yourself, I know you have a huge title, and I couldn't say it all, but I left it for you to tell me what your title is. You had said what they call you. You had given it to me, the whole what you're known by. What is your native uh dissertation? What's the title behind you as a native person?
oh, I am I'm Glenda
Excuse me.
Stevens, and I am from Kitigan Zibi Anishinaabeg territory, unceded, unsurrendered, and my spirit name is Northern Lights Howling Wolf. And I received this name at a ceremony quite a few years ago, and it was just so beautiful how that happened. When that happened, that was there was a storm coming, and the elders came to say that they were going to leave, but they were giving us the option to see if we wanted to stay. And I said, "Oh, I really don't want to leave. I want to stay." And then they said, "Well, if you really want to stay, but if you want to go, they're going that way, and the storm is coming from that way in." And I said, no, no. I said, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But I do believe that I believe that the Creator is protecting us. And we went through the naming ceremony, and I can't believe the fire stayed lit. And it stayed strong enough to heat the stones up. And
Yeah.
when we brought the stones in, it was like a regular ceremony. It was nothing. And the storm rolled in, and we didn't hear it, but I knew it was pouring rain outside.
Wow.
And kudos to the firekeeper because he remained out there keeping the fire lit and standing in the rain through it all, and bringing the
Mhm.
stones into the sweat lodge. And that was wow. Oh, we could hear, it when in there. It was sacred times. And when we
Mm.
came out of there, and the rain was gone. We just
Oh.
came out, and it was gone. They told us, they said, yes, there was a huge
Oh,
storm that came through, and they said they were calling for the weather report was calling for a tornado. And I
wow.
was thinking, wow, but we were looking at the sky, and we were thinking, no, I don't think that it's going to hit us here. So we went and said a prayer, and we continued on with it. And I received that name that day. That was incredible. I'm
So
Northern Lights Howling Wolf.
what Howlin' Wolf? How
Oh,
what is the ceremony of the stones? What does it, what is it to do? You know, is it to do with the name that they were going to give you?
We bring we call them the grandfathers. We bring them into the sweat lodge, and we put it at the center, and
Mm-hmm.
it creates a nice heat inside of there. So we go in there, and it's also healing, because when we go in there, everything comes out of us. You sweat in
Mm-hmm.
there, and people who are not used to it, we tell them to either lay down, or we can say all our relations open the door so that somebody could leave if they want to
Mm-hmm.
exit. But
Okay.
yeah, it's for receiving, and getting closer to the Creator, and just sacred moments of prayer within ourselves.
It's more or less so you're going back to the earth.
Yes,
Wow.
connection.
It's what a connection. That's amazing to know, because, we are in your land, and knowing about you is so important. When I was younger, I used to go to the Six Nations in Brantford, to their powwows, to their all the different ceremonies, buy all their moccasins for myself, their gloves for myself and my children over the many years. But being close to anyone, you are my closest. Although you're in Ottawa, but still, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's good to know, because, we are living here. We are among ourselves, the Europeans and the Caribbean peoples from the continent, etc., and the Far East. But yet still, the very people that give us this beautiful country to be part of, shared it with us, we don't know about. And it's important to know about you. It's important to know that what we get, we want to ensure that you are not denied. And the only way we could talk about it is, the things that you don't get. Because taxes, listen, it is a British thing. It came in, it was a days, sorry, not from British, it came from Caesar's time, way back, and it's being paid. But at the same time, if you live in this land and your land has been free, according to the monarch, God rest her soul, she had left that treaty, that eternal treaty out there, to keep your lands to yourself. Otherwise, where would you be today? How many of us pay attention to your people all over the place, all over the country? And I know we do. We have people right down to the Caribbean, where the Tayanos are, and they were wiped out because of sexual abuse and diseases that a lot of the so-called quote unquote explorers came with. So that part is also a very sad thing, knowing that your lands are being taken by someone who called themselves an explorer. They put their flag and they put their name, and not realizing there are inhabitants there, until you discover them, like when with Champlain, how they discovered when he came into Quebec, that he found out that they were native people, and he came with a language guide, But, the hypocrisy of humanity is really a sad thing. The thing that you'll come, you say you come in peace, but really and truly you come to plunder. And that is where most of the sadness is in my heart when I think of humanity as a whole, because we are one whole. The world is one wrong world. Why aren't we the people that are encompassed in this world? Find that common ground to live together. And it's a word I use all the time, because it's a common ground. If we find that space, we will do greater, we will do better, and I think having this conversation today is an opening to many things. I am really happy that you took the time. I'm all choked up from all of this. It's
Well, thank you for inviting me.
I know, but you know what? It's the thing that gets to me with this, how human beings, how we relate, how we create, we create divisions among us, how we manipulate each other, how we feel greater than, better than, all these things when we should be living in one level of unity, you know, that we can actually gain much more, you know. But my thing to you is, please let your children write their stories. You write your story. It's the story is important, you know. I started mine quite a few years ago. I still have a few books with it, but I have to get it out there one of these grand days. And it's important that our stories are told. It's important that we let people know, you know, we have feelings too. We hurt just as much as you. How could someone hurt you and feel good inside? I always wonder about that. You know, how do you feel? How do you feel when, as a person that God put on this land called Canada with a K, you know, how do you feel when, you know, trespassers come in and they push you away? It's the first thing I observed when I went to the Six Nations. I said, wait a minute, the history tells me that these are the people. How could you pick up people up and push them away? And how is your relationship with the people in the United States? Glenda,
Yes.
how are the nations, how are those in the US? What is the relationship? How do you keep in touch with everybody down in the United States?
Well, I do have family that come from the United States. When I came back home here, I discovered that I do have family members that live throughout some of the states there. So I had taken the time to go and travel with my kids to get them accustomed to traveling so that they would have that, you know. And I did meet some of my family members down there, and traveling through from New York to Ohio. I have some family that are still alive and living there, and we do connect. So just last week I know I missed one that came to my door, but she had the time to, I was not home. But she did have time to go and make her way around the community here to make the connections. And she, you know, now that I know that she is a family member, I'm like, wow, I want to go and meet her.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
but I
right.
have lived in Texas. I have lived in Ohio. I've traveled to Oregon. I've traveled to California. I used to work in California at with through the work that I used to do out west. When I was living in British Columbia, I was working for a kids ministry, and it grew so huge that the adults were being recruited. First, it was the teenagers, the youth being recruited to help out with the kids. And then the parents became so angry, they were wrecking our school buses. And we were trying to find solutions for that. So we were saying, well, you know, we need to find what is making them so angry, you know, like we'll find a need, find what is the need. It's always that connection. And it would only take me 2 minutes a week to go knock on somebody's door and say, hey, I'm the purple shirt. I'm actually wearing a purple shirt today. I'm the purple shirt, and I'm the director of these buses here. And when you see the color coded shirts here, all of us in groups, we are the kids club, and we're coming to your door to see if your kids would like to come and spend an hour with us on the playground outside. So you see what we are doing with the kids, and we're going to do drama skits on the streets, play games with them, be a mentor, be a role model, be a big brother, a big sister to the younger ones who need, you know, and they don't know, they don't have the friendships. If they're going through hardships within their communities or within their homes, you know, that's the only light that they're receiving, the light of happiness. So I got transferred to many, as it grew, I got transferred to many other cities, from Vancouver throughout to the lower mainland, all the way to Langley, BC, Aldergrove. And there I got transferred to exchange programs so that we could learn from each other. And learning from each other was where it was all the best happenings, like all of the adults and all of the youth grouping together and in exchange programs to see how our programs could help build each other up. So what do you know that I don't know? And what I know that I could share with you that could build each other up? And I find that's what the community could use a lot more.
And that is community living. Just one second. Minister Merle.
Pastor Daphne, good morning.
This is Minister Merle, Glenda.
Hi.
Good morning, Glenda.
She is my co-host, and she's been so busy and so tired because her, like I said to you before, that she had a brother that's ill, and she's been doing so much at her. I don't know how she does it, Glenda. I think she has some of your strength. I think some of your prayers are running after her. How are you this morning?
God will run after me. He runs after his children. His chosen ones.
Yes, so I have Glenda is here from the Algonquins, and we're talking about, access and services, what it's all about, how is the communities going, living in their communities with so many of us coming into Canada and on the lands that belong to the Native peoples. That's the treaty lands from our late monarch that she left. Her father actually did the treaty lands and passed it on to her to hand over and let those who are traveling around the world to know that excuse me, that the treaty lands, that the lands that are native lands are treaty land to anyone else who goes on them. So the land will always be the natives, but we can always live on land, and they live peaceful with us, So we were chatting about all the different things, and she's now telling us so many things that she's involved with that I didn't even realize that she was involved with. So Glenda,
Yes.
Merle has been working with the school boards in Toronto. She's retired as well,
and Metro Children's Aid, and involved in our church with all the different outreaches we had and stuff like that.
Yes. Have you been listening to her, Minister Merle?
I wasn't. I completely forgot today was Wednesday.
Well, it's a lot. Well, I'll send you the tape so you'll get the thing. So Glenda, so there's a lot of common ground that you can talk to Minister Merle on. At some point in time, I will ask her permission. I know she's not the lady that says no. She's a grandma as well. She's always there. She's always there to lend a hand. The thing about it is she will leave her home at 3 a.m. in the morning when sleep is just sweet, and run to my home if I needed her, and I can run to my home if I need a shelter. She's that type of person, and so she's a very fair woman. But I want her to when the program is finished, I want her to look at the program and get back to you, because I think both of you can do some great things together in conversations. Just to begin with, I don't know where it's going to end because we're both retired. We're not fired, and we're not expired. But at the same time, I think there's a lot that you can gain from her as well. Okay, because remember, you went into foster home, so you need to talk with her, and your healing process is going to come a little stronger, and you're going to be that phoenix that will rise out of the ashes of time with her. Even the first conversation with her is going to work for you. And Minister Merle, I'm putting you on the I'm putting you in the forefront of things with Glenda. You do have to have a conversation with her at some point.
That's fine, Glenda. It's not Merle. It's not Minister Merle. It's the Father, the God in me. He does his working. He does his teaching and his utterance. Whatever comes out of my mouth, it's always about the Holy Spirit guiding and leading and giving us the wisdom.
Well, you're the vessel, You are the vessel. So that's who I'm sending. I'm sending her to the vessel. Yes.
Yeah, just open your mouth
Be-
and God does
be-
his job through us.
Yes, and that's what we were talking about. We're talking about the fact that you know, we have ideas, and there are rules and laws, and there are ways to do things that would not cause a lot of stress and pain and suffering to people. But at the same time, but pushing people aside in corners, denying people, it creates so much. Like, she's traveled all over Canada, all down to the United States, where some of her people are that she's discovering. She was 20 something when she met her mother for the first time.
Wow.
So I know the conversation with you, because I said I'll have to call you and tell you, but I'm glad you popped in on me to say, I know how tired you are, Minister, but I don't know how you do it. You get strength.
Pastor Daphne,
Your strength is from Mount Zion.
I am not. The thing is, I've been up. I've been up since 7, and
Well, I guess you were given splendid time.
No, I completely forgot that today was Wednesday, and I had to be on with you. It was just
that's all right. That's
one
all right.
of them slips, But
That's
God reminded me at the right time to come in.
Yes, to come in and say hello. So, Glenda.
Yes.
Now that you see Minister Merle, I'm so glad to have you here today. It is such a privilege, How far is it that I know you have an appointment at 12 o'clock? Would you have enough time to go?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because we finish it. Our program finishes at 11:30, and if you stay with us until 11:30, I don't think we have a third. We have a window for Minister Merle now. Yes.
I have plenty of time. Like, it's just to log into the other meeting, and it's no problem at all.
Yeah. Oh, isn't it nice to have these innovations?
I know. It is. Haven't we been blessed to be living in this day and age? I share that every time. I'm just so happy that we could, have everything virtual.
Yes.
Doctor's appointment
you were just
virtual.
a Zoom away.
We just want the dentist want to be virtual.
Yeah. We just tell each other, you're just a Zoom away,
Yeah.
It's come a long way from sending, we call it sending smoke signals.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yes.
We used to hop truck to the library. This is my favorite. Our library, we always had to go hours, walk to the library growing up as children. Now we just flick our fingers and we get everything on the Google search.
Yes.
It's so beautiful.
I did, because Minister Merle, I had to get my territory to let her know where we are. Which is the where I'm seated. So I was able to get that the location, and I Googled it this morning to get it, so that when she comes on, at least we'll have it to greet her, and so that give the respect back to the land and to the people that allowed us this awesome privilege. And it's an awesome privilege to meet her as well, and I know she will not be the only one we'll meet over time, but we're sure to meet a lot more as time goes along in our program.
Yes.
So Glenda.
Yes.
You see Minister Merle here?
It is so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Glenda. If you ever need anyone to bring the conversation, you could always, Pastor Daphne could always give you my number, and, you could reach out, and God's wisdom and his healing and stuff is always to be done.
Yeah, and she needs a lot of healing, it's very sad.
Something that, it only God does it. Many people said, but I know that God himself works the miracle.
Mhm.
in our bodies and give us, when I said to Pastor Daphne, he said, do you remember the days that you and I would say, why this happened to me? Why? These people living so badly and look at them flourishing. But, God has blessed us with, he said that he has given us the peace that surpasses the understanding. So we no longer ask the why question, because God himself has anointed us with that inner peace.
Inner peace, inner peace, inner peace. So you
It
see,
brings great joy inside.
yes. So
Would not
Glenda,
even bring tears to your eyes.
ah, yeah, her story had my eyes flooding, Minister Merle, and the tears were running down behind my ear. And I thought to myself, wow, Minister Merle wasn't here to hear the story, but she's going to hear it in the replay, because we share we share our Zoom videos on our different platforms on our Facebook page, or if you have the LinkedIn, you have the different ones, so that people will be aware of a history, because this is what brings us together amicably. This is what makes us the type of people that makes us the people and the type of
that
personality God
of,
wants in us.
and makes up the land of Canada. It's
That's
what
right.
makes Canada.
Yes.
And that's why we constantly have to pray for our government.
Yes.
And right now we really need to pray for Prime Minister and all that's going on in the land.
Yes.
And
Amen.
that God has brought us into.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful land, and many people don't understand how much we're treasured in this country.
That's
and
right.
we should put Canada and really pray for our Prime Minister, our present Prime Minister, and pray for the protection of Canada and the land and the people in the land.
Mm-hmm. Amen. I agree to that. Well, it's 11:31 and we've come to the end of our 1 hour segment. And you see, Glenda, Minister Merle said it most beautifully. She's the one that put it in that synopsis and package it so well, that we have to pray for the land. We have to pray for our Prime Minister and protection of our land and the people in this land. And it begins with you, the First Peoples, and those of us who have been offered an opportunity to live in Canada.
To live in the
I am very
Canada.
proud to be a Canadian, Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
See, I didn't hear what you said, Mr. Merle.
I said, yes, we are very proud to live in this beautiful land.
Country. Yes.
So right now,
so Glenda,
our Prime Minister needs our prayer.
Yes, Minister Merle is always the one that closes our program, and I'm going to let her have you at the end of it. And I hope somebody will take a screenshot of you and her as she comes on, because it is such a beautiful opportunity. I cannot express my gratitude for your saying yes. And I'm proud of all the things that you've done. I'm so happy to have you as a sister. You call me sister, and we call each other sister. We share a lot of love between us. And, as you heal and as you go along, you have got 2 new sisters. You have an additional sister in Merle that you can always reach out to, And I love you with the love of the Lord, and I'm happy to have the grace of your presence today, and it's only done by Him today. So Minister Merle is going to say goodbye, and I will talk to you later, but don't leave. Let Minister Merle close. So Minister Merle.
Bye, everybody.
Yes.
See you on Friday. Enjoy, and remember, we really need to be praying up our country. God, the Bible tells us we need to protect our land, and this is our land.
Yes,
and we need to be praying for our country and the whole world. And we who are born in Trinidad, we do pray for our country too.
Yes, as well. So bye, everybody. Have a great
Take care.
Wednesday
bye,
and Thursday.
Glenda.
See you on Friday. What you said, Mr. Merle?
I said bye, Glenda.
Take
Glenda.
care. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
See